What's going on? This is Ryan with Automatic Comics, and up next, I've got a great clip from when I was on Swagglehaus Comics earlier this week. I was lucky enough to be on there with 5 other great comic content creators. We talked about all things comics from 2021 going into 2022, we think is gonna happen this year. So it was Mickey with Swagglehaus Comics, Joel from Newbie Comics, Matt Forge with the Pressable Defects, Rob from Neo Cards and Comics, and Drew from Como Comics. That it was a lot of fun, great perspectives from different people in the comic community. And this clip specifically was about the correction that we saw in some books, some key books this last year, and whether they were justified or not, and if we thought any of them were maybe good options to pick up. So if you enjoy this clip, go check out the full live video on Swagglehaus channel. I'll put the link to the video in the description, as well as the links to all the other content creators that were there for this live show. So hope you enjoy this clip.
All right, well, going on now to the next topic. We had shill bidding, we had market manipulation, a lot of FUD in the market, and that caused the big correction later on in the year, right? So, we kind of showed the slide earlier, right? We had those Disney Plus shows, and then we got to this moment, and maybe you can say it started with Black Widow, but I kind of felt like What If was really the time when I was surprised that no books were. It's like that chase, right? That chase for like, this is the episode this week. This is the book I should get. It just like didn't feel like it was there. I mean, of course there's movement, but it just wasn't the same as say Loki. And then we got, Shang-Chi, well-received movie, but his Marvel Special Edition took a big correction. Eternals, we're going to talk about that book in a second. Whether or not like the reviews were bad, had a role in that. And then Venom as well. We got to talk about Amazing Spider-Man 361 as well. So we get the correction. And then here's just some of the charts I think I want to talk about with certain books, right? We have
what's going on with Iron Man 1 here? What's going on here?
Wait. Don't jump ahead. Look at the control group. We got the control group right here. So we have Eternals number
immediately
1.
Getting defensive.
Yeah.
He feels attacked.
Let me just say right now, I'm going to put it out there. I think Iron Man number 1 at that grade is like one of the best, like, health of the market books, in my opinion, because I mean, sure, there's spec value. Maybe RDJ comes back at some point in the future, but like, Iron Man is kind of done, but he's beloved. And, if we look at that book, like it's always being purchased. People always kind of want it in their collection. It's at a price point where there's enough people who can get it. So, it's like in that sweet spot. So I feel like
it's
when you look
top
at
tier Silver Age cover,
and it's a top tier book. Yeah. So it's
as beautiful as any Silver Age book.
So where that book goes, so too does the market IMHO. But let's talk about Eternals number 1. You just got to look at the graph right there. What we got with the height of the peak of the movie, and then, or maybe that was in April, and then where we are now with the movie. Master of Kung Fu, Special Marvel Edition 15. This is a 9.0. I picked that one because of the sample size, but you can see is the graph right there. And then ASM 361 with Carnage, not maybe as steep a decline, took some time, but generally speaking, we saw the rise and then we saw the fall, and then the Iron Man is the control group. So what is your guys' thoughts on maybe some of these books? Maybe I'll start with you. I know you've talked a lot about 361, I think.
Yeah, and I had a 9.6, and I actually got offered 900 Canadian for mine just before the movie kicked off, and I sold it. Like I took the money and ran. People that were believing in that book, great. I got a buddy of mine whose top 2 characters Carnage, and he was like, "You're crazy, you're crazy." I mean, I can go buy like 10 of them now with the money that I got. Basically, just never really saw that there was going to be a lot of potential. And I get it. When you're very close to a character, you just want to say, no, that character is going to be around for like 20 movies. It's like, no. I think in a situation like that, even Eternals, right? You should have taken the money. And then, like everybody on the panel has said, you are pretty much able to get Eternals and ASM 361, like for pretty much nothing now for what they were going for. The Shang-Chi one, I know that Ryan is a big fan of. The Iron Man one. I mean, Iron Man didn't even have a movie, and yet it's on here. So I don't know.
We had like
I'm a
10
little
movies.
Yeah.
No. But the Iron Man one is representative of like every book had a correction this year.
Yeah.
So it just kind of goes to show you that like that's the market.
Mhm.
But
Yeah,
when you
and
look at like Eternals 1, it's like, whoa, that book.
I think we're also just too quick, right? And guys, and I know Ryan will, because we've had this conversation, but like we move on to the next thing like super quick, right? Because we have so many things going on now, whether it be shows or movie, whatever, right? Like it's like, okay, I seen the movie, okay, what's next, right? Like people watching Eternals, as soon as the Blade, sorry, I should have said spoiler just in case nobody's seen Eternals yet, but at the end of the movie, when Blade says that line, everybody was like, Blade. Nobody talked about Eternals. It was just Blade.
Yeah.
Everyone's onto Blade, and all that. So like, I think that also hurts it. We don't have that, like, Eternals is here, I'm going to buy it, it's hot for a while. It's like, no, you sell it now and then you lose money. And then down the road, a month and a half, 2 months, it's a shell of what it was, just before the movie, right? So
I mean, this is pretty standard for what we see with these books, though, leading into movies. It was accentuated this year because the trailers for Eternals and for Shang-Chi came out in April, May of this year, or of last year, which was like the craziest time for prices already. So you had the trailer, which is the first trailer is the peak price for those books. And so you had that combined with it was also the peak time for books in general. And so you had a real high spike there. Now, personally, I think Special Marvel Edition 15 is probably a book that's, and like Newbie said, a book that I think is, as it comes down, that's a book to buy again. I mean, it's not like he's gone; he's coming back. And in a slightly similar vein with Eternals. Now, Special Marvel Edition was received a lot, or Shang-Chi was received a lot more favorably, and so that's why that one's maybe a little bit better to pick up than Eternals. But the Iron Man up there, it's something I've talked about a number of times, like where we saw these huge spikes earlier this year, and then you had everything correct. But not everything necessarily should have corrected. And so it was just like everything just sold off. But then now you're having some books that are coming back up and even setting new highs above what they were hitting earlier this year. And so that's what it's become kind of more knowing what to buy. It's a little more focused compared to earlier this year where it was just everything.
Right. Drew,
My two biggest. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, Rob. Good jump in.
I was gonna say my two biggest takeaways from this screen grab are 361 is the perfect example of they let you buy them back. Like that is the textbook example of they let you buy them back. Don't get me wrong. It's a great cover. I love Carnage. I would love to have one in my collection. It looks great on a shelf. That's a book you can find anytime you want it. Anytime you want it, you can find one. If you can make a good profit on that book, you just sell it and then you just wait. You'll eventually be able to get it back. My other big takeaway is I agree 100% with Ryan. Looking at these just very quickly, that Marvel Special Edition feels like an amazing buying opportunity. Just looking at these 4 books on this screen, just because of exactly what he said. That movie was very well received. I enjoyed it a ton. That character is 100% going to be a major factor in whatever the MCU does next. Do the Eternals come back? Yes. I would be a little bit more concerned about that one just based off of the reception of that movie. But that being said, the second we get more Eternals stuff, whether it's them showing up in another movie or whatever, that book is probably going to creep back up again to some degree. But I think the special edition has a lot more room to go up than anything else on this screen.
Yeah. Well, Drew, let me bring you in here and let me just ask you this, because is maybe Shang-Chi is kind of a special case. Let's table that book for a second.
Okay.
But with Eternals #1 and ASM 361, is the correction of these books due to the fact that these movies were not well received? I mean, I know ASM 361 was maybe, or Venom 2 was maybe well received. I don't know, whatever. But was it because the correction was not well received, or let's be honest, were all 3 of these books that everybody had the plan that they were going to flip them essentially? And what had happened in what we've discussed, prior to this, where you guys said, it's like, as soon as someone tries to sell their book and then you get past the movie, it's like, oh, I got to sell mine. And you just keep undercutting each other. Like, wasn't that the plan? I mean, look, I'll be honest. Like I got an Eternals 1 and my plan was like, I'm going to sell mine as soon as I get that first trailer. And like, I don't think I was alone with that.
Nope.
So
I'm with you.
Was that the cause of these corrections? Like, what do you think?
I think the clear difference between Eternals 1 and ASM 361 compared to Special Marvel Edition 15 is you can't swing a dead cat near a comic box without finding an ASM 361 or an Eternals 1. They are everywhere, and they have been for forever. Special Marvel Edition 15, you have to dig a little harder for. They weren't as plentiful in the market. And I think to that point, everybody already had these, whether they were planning to sell them or just happened to have them because they picked them up at a good price. They got out over their skis is all it was. Everybody got caught up in the hype of the summer. Everything's going up. Everything's going to keep going up. So I'm gonna buy more, right? Personally, I think 361 and a 9.8 and that lower price around $500. I don't think it's a terrible buy if you enjoy Carnage and it's a book you want to have in your collection. You're not going to retire off of it, but I think it makes a lot more sense around $500 right now. Eternals 1, I think that was an internet book. I don't know who actually wanted to buy Eternals 1. There didn't seem to be in my area any excitement over that. Part of the reason there is that you've got this whole team of characters and their first appearances are scattered across the first 11 issues of that series.
Yeah.
So it's just the team kind of dilutes the appeal of the number one because you don't have that, it's not as rock solid as like a full first appearance of the whole team,
Right.
So I think Special Marvel Edition is the best out of the three, obviously, which is why we tabled it. But
this is also. Sorry. Go ahead, Drew.
No, I was just going to say I think these books had their 15 minutes of fame. They kind of overextended themselves, and now they're just simply being faced with reality once again.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. The Shang-Chi one, though, I'll say. And I've had with how Ryan collects and stuff like that. I mean, we, like he said, we talk all the time. Out of sight, out of mind. Like Ryan reminds me all the time. Hey, he's coming back. Hey, he's basically an Avenger. Hey, he had conversations with this. Hey, something's coming for his 10 rings. Hey, so it's kind of one of those things that out of sight, out of mind, especially if you're trying to make a flip. This is a perfect opportunity to buy it. Why? Because now everybody's on Star Wars, and now next everybody will be on, Moon Knight, and then She-Hulk, whether you like it or not. That's just how it goes. And then this book will just keep going down and down and be quiet, and then people are going to be like, oh shit, what book can I sell? I'll sell this one because this one's over, right? And I think that's what happens. And this is a perfect opportunity to, especially for an investment, or maybe this was your character that you liked and you missed out, or maybe you're just a new collector and you're like, this is my character now. Great opportunity to buy these books.
Right.
All right, so I hope you enjoyed that clip from the live stream that we did earlier this week. If you did, remember, just go check out the full thing on Swagglehaus channel, and also remember to like and subscribe to the video, and go and subscribe to all the other creators that were taking part in that live stream as well. And if you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button, hit the subscribe button if you'd like to see more content like this. I've got more videos over here if you'd like to watch some of my other videos, and the subscription button right here if you'd like to subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate it, and I will see you in the next video.